right after I graduated college, and at Barry University, I was on all the shows. They had the Pelican Theater, and they also had, the main stage. So I did a lot of shows back then. Stephen Neal was running the department. And so when I graduated, I auditioned for New Theater, and I got cast in a play. Rafael Deacha was the artistic director then, called Cloud Tectonics. And I did it with Carlos Orizondo. And then, worked at Area Stage. And through, I think I mentioned this before, through college, I would leave every summer. I've worked 3 jobs during college, and I would save all my money, and I would go to New York, and I would take workshops there, because I found that there was no workshops, I wanted to study my craft, and I couldn't find that in Miami outside of college. It didn't seem like the actors here either had access to it, or it wasn't sort of in the, there wasn't this like, hey, went on my off time, I'm gonna go and, stretch this muscle for acting, whether I was in a show or not. And I loved that there was that sort of, environment and that discipline in New York. So I went and I studied with Wynn Hanman, and Jean Frankel, and it was great. And I fell in love with New York. I knew eventually that I would want to go there, but I think it was a wonderful experience for me. So I do that, and then, graduated college, started doing a lot of shows here. I met Paul Tay, Paul Tay and I eventually started Juggernaut Theater Company together. I don't know if a lot of people know that. And then he went off and started Mad Cat Theater Company. But very early on, there was a bookstore called Drama 101. It was like the only place where you could go and buy your scripts, and it was off of Biscayne and 54th, I believe. There's Balance was there, and now there's a Puerto Rican restaurant that's there. It's like they have a huge Puerto Rican flag on there. You can't miss it on Biscayne Boulevard. But a woman by the name of Teresa Pooler owned like an old motel, and her brother was an actor, and he opened a bookstore there, and I'd go there all the time, and we became friends. And she said, hey, I have this, I have this space. I have basically an old motel room, and you guys can use it to do what you want. And so we did some readings there. I started to bring in some directors from New York, because I thought one of the things I thought was really important was sort of this cross-pollination of writers and playwrights between Miami and New York. I thought it was really important to infuse the city with new blood, and vice versa. People in New York to get to know the Miami story. Michael John Garces was one of the directors that we worked with. He was also a playwright, so we produced some of his pieces, Land and Audio Video, which back then, Oscar Isaac, who's now like gone on to be like a huge star, he was in one of the shows. We produced Bash. We did a reading of one of Ricky Martinez's play. We worked with Octavio Campos, and we did a show called my God, it was based on Isadora Duncan. Very, very, very out there, that we ended up taking to New York as well. So that's when I knew, well, this is what I know how to do. I love to produce. And I loved putting people together. I loved putting the teams together. I loved finding the new playwrights. I liked creating new work about Miami for Miami.